The machine fails in silence. No alarms, no warning lights, only the sudden stillness before every joint in your body is pulled outward, crushed, and reassembled in another gravity. When the pressure clears, when you gasp and find that breath is a blade, you are already here, in the first world, before rivers, before soil, before anything that remembers life. The ground beneath you is no ground at all. It moves in slow, shuddering waves, as if the planet itself is restless in its sleep. You feel it through your palms. Heat that does not rise like warmth but strikes like impact, a blunt force of temperature hammering your nerves. The stone is newborn, still slick, still raw. It is a scab forming over a wound that has no intention of healing. Above, there is no sky, only thickness. The air is a column of choking vapor, gray-brown and lightless, shot through with sulfurous glimmers. Clouds do not drift here. They boil. Steam twists upward in ropes, tears itself apart, recombines. Each breath feels as though it has been stolen from the mouth of something larger, something mechanical and merciless. Noise does not travel cleanly. Every sound is muffled by vapor or ripped apart by explosions deep below. When the crust splits, and it splits often, the world roars with a voice that shakes your ribs. Lava surges upward, incandescent, hungry, the only brightness in this dusk without sun. You see rivers of fire running between ridges, cutting valleys that will be erased again in minutes. You crouch low, skin slick with condensation. Already your throat aches from breathing vaporized minerals. Already your vision blurs from heat. There is nowhere safe, only places where death delays its claim. And then the smell, a sweetness that should not exist here, carried on a shift in the steam. It burns your sinuses like acid, but still carries the ghost of something floral, though flowers are yet eons away. It is the chemistry of beginnings, half poison, half promise. You cannot tell if your body craves it or rejects it. You only know that it is pulling you forward, deeper into this wilderness of stone and boiling sky. You steady yourself. This is not survival. This is postponement, minute by minute, through a world that does not want you here. The machine is gone. The return path is gone. What remains is only protocol, and protocol must become instinct, or you will not last even a single rotation of this new earth. You rise unsteadily, and the first step nearly buckles your legs. The ground does not behave as ground should. It flexes under your weight, not enough to topple you, but enough to remind you that all beneath is molten, that your footing is only a fragile film. You imagine the thin crust as a sheet of glass stretched across a furnace, straining to keep its shape. Heat bleeds upward in invisible waves. Each inhalation scrapes your lungs as though you've swallowed sand ground from hot iron. Your lips crack almost immediately. Moisture exists all around you in the form of vapor, yet your body dehydrates faster than you can understand. Sweat has no meaning here. It is torn from your skin before it can bead, stripped by the furnace air. Around you, pillars of steam erupt from the surface in irregular bursts. They hiss and coil like serpents, leaving your ears ringing long after they fade. Some rise gently, dispersing into the haze. Others burst violently, releasing a scalding rain that hisses against the black rock. When droplets touch you, they leave red blossoms of pain across your skin, as if each drop were a memory branded into flesh. Vision is treacherous in this world. Distance does not behave. Through the shifting vapor, the horizon bends, breaks, and reforms. A ridge that appears an arm's length away proves unreachable after long, staggering steps. The nearer you approach, the more it withdraws, as though distance itself rebels against your perception. And yet, if you turn too quickly, fissures yawn underfoot, narrow mouths glowing with liquid fire. The crust is not continuous. It is a puzzle of plates, rising and sinking in slow violence. Sound is stranger still. Echoes arrive before the events that create them. You hear cracks, booms, and sighs without source until a seam opens near your feet, releasing heat so intense it sears the hair from your arms in an instant. Time seems to falter here, or perhaps your senses fracture under constant assault. The air is layered. Bend low, and you inhale sulfur thick as syrup, cloying and metallic. Stand tall, and the steam burns sharp, like knives dragged through your nostrils. There is no correct height, no safe layer. Each breath is compromise, an equation of damage. You find pools, not of water, but of minerals condensed out of vapor, shallow basins shimmering with colors that do not belong to any later Earth. They ripple without wind, glowing faintly from within. The instinct to drink gnaws at you, but instinct here is a trap. These pools are chemical wounds on the surface, liquid stone. A single taste would turn your throat to slag. There is motion, too. Not life, not yet, but currents. The steam thickens in places, forming swirling vortices that drift slowly across the terrain. They collapse when they meet fissures, pulled into the molten depths with a sound like inhalation. To walk is to navigate between these invisible engines, to learn their patterns before they draw you into their spiral. And then the tremor. It begins faint, a subtle pulse under your feet, and builds steadily until you feel your bones vibrating. The crust shifts, fractures. A new scar rips open not far from where you stand. Lava fountains upward, a column of white-orange liquid that blinds you even with your eyes shut. The air thickens with particles, sharp, stinging, metallic. You stagger back, coughing blood, vision streaked with black shapes. When it passes, when the new flow settles into another incandescent river, you are left trembling, each nerve scalded raw. There is no stillness here. Every second is movement. Crust forming and breaking, vapor collapsing and reforming, fire rising and sinking. To survive, you must not look for shelter. There is none. You must learn the rhythm of destruction, the pulse of this first world, and move within its timing. Already your thoughts fray at the edges. The machine is gone. The sky is not sky. The stone beneath you hates weight. You are a contradiction in this place, a body that expects stability where there is none. If you remain rigid, you will break. If you move without patience, you will burn. The planet exhales again, and the vapor thickens around you, swallowing shape, swallowing horizon. You can no longer tell where the next step leads. Only instinct and rules you have yet to invent will hold you here a moment longer. You crouch, arms wrapped tight against the boiling wind, and force yourself to listen. Not to sound, but to rhythm. The planet does not speak, but it pulses. The crust rises and falls, the fissures open and close, the steam thickens and thins. You begin to see patterns, tiny islands of predictability in the chaos. And from those patterns, protocol emerges. Rules. Not laws of nature, those belong to the planet alone. These are laws of survival, written in pain and in fear, etched into your nerves. Break even one, and this place will erase you without pause. Rule 1. Do not touch the fresh crust. The surface of newborn rock gleams with a deceptive solidity. It cools from black to gray in seconds, hardening like skin over a wound. Instinct urges you to trust it, to step onto it as though it were safe ground. But you have seen what follows. The crust shatters under pressure, collapsing inward, and the heat below is not abstract. It surges upward, consuming flesh before you can even scream. Even if you survive the first collapse, the rock radiates stored heat for hours. To touch it with bare skin is to lose sensation, then tissue, then function. You mark the fresh surfaces by their sheen. They are smoother, darker, without the spider cracks that signal age. You teach your eyes to see the subtle smoke rising from them, the faint mirage of wavering air. Step only on stone that has dulled, fractured, begun to wear. Any other choice is a sentence written in fire. Rule 2. Stay near fissures only in their silence. The cracks breathe. They exhale steam and ash, and when they do, you keep away. But when their voices falter, when the flow subsides, they become lifelines. Only then can you cling to their edges, using their heat to dry your lungs, their stone walls to shield from storms of vapor. It is a gamble of timing. Too early, and the fissure erupts, drowning you in boiling gas. Too late, and the crust beneath your feet may collapse into the river of magma below. You must learn the pauses, the heartbeat of the fault lines. When they inhale silence, you move close. When they roar, you vanish. You remember the first mistake. standing too long near one that seemed dormant. The ground shook. The steam burst outward, a spray of minerals searing your skin. You could not breathe for minutes, each gasp shredding your throat. That scar becomes instruction. Fissures are not safe, only temporarily less lethal. Rule 3. Do not seek water. Thirst burns you hollow, but there is no water here, only its mockery. Pools shimmer invitingly, their surfaces glassy and calm, colored in iridescence that tempts the eye. But they are acids, solvents, liquefied rock itself. One drop on your skin bubbles into lesions. To drink would be to dissolve from the inside out. Your mouth cracks, your tongue swells, but the only moisture available is the steam itself, inhaled in ragged gasps, stripped of oxygen, leaving you half suffocated. Hydration is a lie in this place. The body's demands mean nothing to a world that has not yet invented oceans you can touch. Rule 4. Keep moving with the rhythm, never against it. The crust shifts in cycles. The ground trembles, then calms, then trembles again. To move blindly is to stumble into eruption. You must wait for the quiet between pulses, then walk. Movement here is not freedom, it is submission. Each step must be synchronized with the breathing of the planet. Delay and fissures close behind you, cutting off escape. Rush and you meet them while they are still opening, swallowed before you can react. You are not a traveler here. You are a shadow cast across a shifting surface, allowed to slide forward only when the planet permits. Rule 5. Never stand tall in the open steam. The vapor rises in layers. It blinds, suffocates, but more than that, it scalds unevenly. To remain upright is to place your lungs and eyes at the mercy of currents that slice through flesh with heat invisible as light. You must crawl, hunch, keep your body low to the stone. The lower currents still burn, but they burn consistently. You can adapt to consistency. The high currents change without warning, whirlwinds of temperature that cook tissue instantly. The urge to stand, to stretch, to gasp for air above the haze will come. You will feel your spine ache, your chest collapse inward. But to obey that urge is to die in a single breath. The rules repeat themselves in your mind until they replace thought. You no longer think of escape, there is none. You think only of adherence, of ritual. Each rule is a wall holding back the chaos for another minute, another hour. The machine is gone. The future is gone. There is only protocol, survival written against a planet that has not yet invented forgiveness. And still, as you whisper these rules into the steam, you know what all protocols conceal. Rules break. Not by choice, but by inevitability. The rules hold until they don't. You whisper them like prayer. Do not touch fresh crust. Stay by fissures only in silence. Do not seek water. Move with rhythm. Never stand tall. The mantras keep your body steady, your breath shallow, your limbs coiled close. You live in the narrow seam between mistakes. But the planet is patient, and patience here means only inevitability. It begins with thirst. Your tongue cracks, lips split, every breath strips you drier. The haze thickens, veiling distance, and you stumble toward what looks like dull rock, old crust, fractured and gray. Safe ground. You kneel to catch your balance, and your hand meets smoothness. The stone is too dark, too fresh. Heat knifes through your palm before you can recoil. The contact lasts less than a second, but the damage is permanent. Nerves flare, skin stiffens, pain radiates up your arm like lightning trapped inside bone. You wrench yourself back, clutching the limb against your chest, and nearly topple into a fissure. The ground there trembles, warning of eruption. You have broken the first rule, not in defiance but in blindness. The punishment is immediate. You can no longer rely on your hand. Curls uselessly, trembling, each movement an agony. One more grip lost in a world where every grasp matters. You force yourself to crawl away, low to the surface, whispering the rules faster now, trying to rebuild them, to hold them intact. But injury skews rhythm. Crawling slows you, mistimes your steps. The crust shudders beneath your knees, and before you can adjust, a fissure opens. The silence was shorter than before. You misread the heartbeat. Steam surges upward, slamming you with force. The vapor is not mist but matter, burning, blinding. Your skin prickles with thousands of instant stings. You curl into yourself, but the storm has already entered your lungs. You cough, expel blood, and the world tilts sideways. Rule 2 broken, not by ignorance but by error. You read the rhythm wrong, and the fissure punished you. You stagger upright without thinking. The rules say never stand tall, but your body has forgotten in panic. Instinct forces you vertical, desperate for air. The higher vapor finds you instantly. It slices through your throat with invisible heat. Every breath sears deeper, carving your chest with knives of fire. You collapse again, but the damage is done. Standing gave you no relief, only faster destruction. Rule 5 broken. The world does not rage against you. It does not even notice. But each breach of protocol is answered, not because the planet chooses, but because the planet does not care. Cause and effect. You faltered, so the environment closes over you without hesitation. You crawl again, body bent, chest heaving. Ahead, through the haze, you see a pool. It gleams faintly, iridescent, a false promise. The rules whisper, do not seek water. But thirst now owns you. The burns in your throat, the swelling of your tongue, the cracks in your lips. Each becomes a voice, screaming at you to drink. You approach the pool. The surface is smooth, rippling faintly from unseen currents. It shines in colors your eyes cannot name, metals dissolving into liquid stone. You hover over it, eyes wide, lips trembling open. One sip could ease the fire. One sip could restore motion. The rules hold you back for a moment, but rules do not quench thirst. Your head lowers. Steam blurs your vision. The reflection in the pool is not you but distortion, a faceless shimmer. The smell rises first, metallic, acrid, a warning. Still you bend lower, breath hovering inches above. The vapor itself touches your mouth, and instantly your lips sting. The pool does not need you to drink it. Its fumes already eat at your skin. You recoil, choking, but the mistake is made. Your throat swells tighter, your chest shrinks inward. The urge to drink has punished you without a drop. Rule 3 broken almost willingly, and still the world pulses. The ground trembles again, fissures answering in chorus. You realize you've lost the rhythm entirely. The planet breathes, but you are out of sync. You move left when it exhales, right when it inhales. Every step is misaligned. Rule 4 collapses with all the rest. There is no protocol left. The structure you built, the fragile scaffolding of survival, has fractured like the crust itself. You are no longer a shadow moving safely between dangers. You are exposed, body bare to every pulse, every eruption, every boiling wind. And the planet does not pause to give you time to rebuild. You move without rules now. The protocol is broken, scattered in fragments across your body. The hand that touched fresh crust and no longer obeys you. The throat seared by fissure steam. The lungs burned by higher vapor. The mouth swollen from reaching for forbidden pools. Each scar is an echo of instruction ignored. The world does not punish you with malice. It simply continues. Crust folds, fissures exhale, steam boils upward in endless cycles, indifferent to the ruin of your body. You stagger through it like a miswritten line in a script that never included you. Your limbs grow heavy, not with fatigue, but with heat. Muscles no longer contract cleanly. They tremble, flutter, spasm. Each step is an argument with gravity, each breath a bargain with fire. The planet offers nothing but repetition. The same cracking, the same hissing, the same convulsions of stone and vapor. It is not hostile, it is absolute. You pause on a ridge of older crust, fissured and dull, the only island of stability left to you. From here, you see rivers of magma winding below, molten arteries pulsing through the young earth. The air above them wavers in shifting curtains, lightless yet bright, as though illumination itself is still deciding whether to exist. Your body leans forward, drawn by the glow. Not by choice, by gravity, by collapse. Knees buckle, arms twitch. You catch yourself against the stone, but the motion tears your burned hand open again. Pain flares white-hot, then numbs. You realize you cannot feel your fingers anymore. The ground shudders beneath you. A fissure splits open nearby, but you no longer scramble away. There is no rhythm left to follow, no pause to wait for. The crust exhales, and the steam washes across you. It does not strike like violence. It settles gently, as though the air itself is finally claiming you. You inhale, reflex, unstoppable. The vapor enters your lungs, denser than breath, heavier than air. It fills you with heat, presses against alveoli until they collapse. You cough once, a sound swallowed instantly by the haze. Vision narrows. The world becomes a tunnel of lightless glow, magma rivers flickering at its edges. Shapes blur, distances collapse. The ridge beneath you tilts, or perhaps your body simply falls sideways. The stone meets you with a thud softened by numbness. Your ear presses to the ground. You hear it not sound but vibration. The pulse of the planet, steady, colossal, eternal. It has always been there, beneath every rule, beneath every breath, beneath every attempt at survival. The heartbeat of a world that does not yet know life, does not yet know the burden of memory. Your chest rises once more, shallow, ragged. The inhalation burns, the exhalation drags, and still the pulse continues, indifferent. The last rule forms in your mind, unspoken, unlearned until now. You were never meant to remain. Not because of failure, not because of weakness, but because this place is not survival. It is only origin, stone and steam, pressure and collapse. To enter it is to dissolve. To walk its surface is to vanish into cycles that will continue without you. Your eyes close. The darkness is no different from the haze. The pulse of the planet becomes your own pulse, indistinguishable, synchronized at last. Not safety, not shelter, only absorption. The crust shifts again. A new fracture opens. Steam swallows the ridge where you lie. The stone hisses under your body, and then both you and it are indistinguishable, one more layer, one more fragment in the endless accretion of earth. There is no scream, no echo, no memory, only stone, only steam, and then silence.